Hello everyone and welcome back to This Is Real Life. On this DIY Wednesday video, we are on the floor because we are going to create our very own priceless works of art. I know, right? For very little cost, very little supplies, and very little talent, you are going to be able to create some wonderful art pieces for your home. I'm gonna show you how, and cross our fingers, it works like it does in my mind. So, to give you a little context and a little backstory, I have a few art things. My cow, it's my prized possession. It didn't cost a lot. I bought it at like an antique store in the downtown area. I have another piece there that actually was painted by a friend of mine and I adore it. But really, as far as like art goes, I'm not a connoisseur. I buy what I like and half the time it's like a print, whatevs. But I was at this particular really darling store in San Diego. The store is called Love and Aesthetics. It's a pretty pricey store, but they have some really unique pieces of home decor. Some are a little bit, dare I say, risque, but there was a lot of things that I wanted to buy and take home. However, my pocketbook was like, hail to the no. And one of the things that I saw was this canvas print painting. I don't know what to call it, but art. And I was drawn to it for some reason. And while I didn't check the price tag based on the prices of everything else in that store, that it was gonna be way over my budget to purchase. So you know me, what I always say, take the parts and the pieces of whatever it is that you are interested in purchasing and see if you can make it yourself. And I thought, self? You could probably fucking make this. While it is a painting of sorts, it also had kind of like a print vibe to it. While I understand this style of art may not be everybody's style, because we are going to DIY it ourselves, you can make it into whatever you want. Paint is involved. However, you don't have to be an artist. This particular painting that I am going to recreate is just block color. But if you didn't want to include the block color, you could take an element of your print and paint over the top of it, almost like a coloring book. So you could add a paint sort of a feel that way. Another way we're going to get the paint sort of a feel is by using our good friend, Mod Podge. We're going to cover our entire canvas in Mod Podge with a paintbrush so that when it dries, you do see brush strokes as you would in any canvas painting. So for this particular piece that I am recreating, I think what I was drawn to was the block color, but I was also drawn to the fact that it had like a crazy ass, weird, what does this mean sort of statement. Like I said, may not be your style at all. However, what we're gonna do, you can turn in to exactly fit your style and your home decor. So let me tell you how we're gonna do it. First off, what I noticed about this piece that I am recreating is that there was a print of a lady. I thought we could achieve the same look by going onto the Googles. I typed in literally like vintage woman profile, looked throughout all of Google, saved a bunch of those images to the desktop of my computer to figure out like, ooh, what would work the best? What do I like the best for the vibe of what I'm going for? Now, this could be a picture of a lady in profile, a man front-faced. This could be a picture of a vase of flowers, a basket of fruit, whatever. You can pick anything. Let's say you have some kids, some grandkids, family, what have you. Don't go to Google Images, use your own image. So you can now turn your own favorite family picture, kid picture into a canvas print for minimal amounts of money. Once you have your picture selected, in order to make it not look like you just printed a picture on a piece of paper, Editor John told me about this website, and stick with me, it has a weird name. It's called Be Funky, and I want to say it's befunky.com. So you're going to go to this website, and for for this DIY, just sign up for the free trial and then don't forget to cancel. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take the picture that you either found on Google or the picture that is your very own picture, and you're gonna upload it into the Be Funky website. They're gonna take that picture and they're gonna turn it into a painting. They have so many different choices. They have choices to make your picture more pop art, cartoony, like an oil painting. They have tons and tons of options to turn your photo into. I actually did pick an option for the Google image that I selected that gave it more of like, I don't know, like a hand painted kind of a look to it. And then there is one that is kind of more of like a fuzzy, antique-y sort of a painting. So once you do that and then you save your picture, you're gonna wanna print it out to the size that you want. Now, I obviously printed these out on my work computer. I picked 11 by 17 because that is the largest sheet of paper that my work printer would print. But if you don't have access to a work printer, a home printer, you want something a little larger than 8.5 by 11, go ahead and save your photo that you've now enhanced, take that over to the Kinko's and have them print it out for you. And if you want to do a saying of any sort, type out your saying, print that out, or have the Kinko's print it out. Or you can do away with the saying altogether. I am specifically recreating a piece that I saw in a store. But because you can make this your own, let's say you have like a very meaningful song. Maybe you want to do like a picture of the band or the group, and then maybe your saying is like a specific song lyric. Maybe it's a farm. Maybe you have like a country theme in your house, and maybe you want to do a saying it's like the grass isn't always greener or something like that. Some affirmation. You can make it whatever you want. That is the most brilliant part about it. The saying is so just like crazy and out there. It says, she should have never gone down to the lake. I was like, ooh, maybe I can make like more vintage women in different styles, and like maybe another one is, she should have never gone up to the mountains. She should have never visited the cabin. You know, whatever. You could do whatever you want. Then either print it out on your home or work printer or take it over to the Kinko's. Gosh, I want to say they're either like 75 cents or $1 a piece, depending on the size that you select. Then you're going to want to run over to your local craft store like the Michaels and get your canvases. It just so happens that Michaels has some very expensive canvases, which I said, oh, hell to the no. Then they have the cheaper versions for what we need. This happens to be a 3-pack of 18-inch by 24-inch canvases. This 3-pack cost $12.99, and I believe I did use a 20% off coupon as well. 3 is way more than I need for the project that I'm doing, but now I'll have 2 additional canvases to make more art pieces around the house if I want to. Get your canvases, get your prints, and then if you do want to add the paint element for this piece, again, it's just 2 colors of block paint. So I bought the 2 colors that I am going to use for my piece. These are the Artist Loft. They're 4.6 fluid ounces of acrylic paint. They were $4.50, but it was buy one, get one 50% off. And I did also purchase some really cheapy throwaway brushes. This is 25 pieces and it was $4.99. So my total purchase at the Michaels for my 3 canvases, which I only need 1, brushes and my paint was $22. My printouts were free to me, but if I needed to take them to the Kinko's, let's add on just $2 more. So you're at $25 now for an art piece that is going to be pretty huge, 18 by 24. It's pretty big, right? Good size piece. Now, if you try to go to like the At Home, even like the Target, they're expensive. 25 bucks for a completely custom piece of art in your home is, dare I say, priceless. You're also going to want to hop on over to your good old Dollar Tree and pick up some Mod Podge. I picked up the I picked up the mat, like they're $1, so I always grab a couple when I'm at the Dollar Tree. I don't know exactly how much we'll use, but again, this is super custom. And the best part about this whole thing is you do not have to be a painter. That's what I love about it. Because I will tell you what, a long time ago, a friend of mine and I, at an art gallery, we saw these really, really cute, really large canvases, and they had very simply painted single flowers painted onto these long, skinny canvases. And I was like, oh my gosh, those are so cute. Hella expensive because they were by like an artist. My friend and I were like, well, shit, those are just easy little flowers. We've drawn flowers before. We bought some canvases. We bought all sorts of acrylic paints. We thought, oh, this is gonna be easy. It's gonna be great. No, it wasn't. Turns out trying to paint very simple flowers is not as easy as one might think. And that was many, many years ago, and I thought, man, I am just not an artist. That sucks. So I know I will never be able to paint a basket of fruit or paint a vase of flowers. But I do know that I can easily paint on a square block of color. And that is what we're going to do today. Let's get started. The first thing we want to do is we want to take our print. I really think I want to use this one more so than this one. It's like, don't give yourself too many options, because believe me, I spent a long time on that website. I had narrowed it down to 3 images that I found on Google, and I played with each and every single image. And I came down to this gal because I love her. I like her style. Something about her. I want to decide where about on the canvas I want to put her. I don't want the edge of my paper to be right on the top edge of the canvas. I do want to fold that over just a hair because, again, I am recreating something that I saw. I'm going to place her off to the edge. I want more white space here, less white space here. Kind of crease the top of that so I know where I want to put her. I am not gonna decoupage my actual piece of paper. I'm gonna put my decoupage on my canvas. I'm gonna sponge brush with my little cheap sponge brushes the area in which I'm going to place my print. I'm just gonna squirt it directly onto my canvas in the area that I want to stick my print down. And if it's outside of the area, that's fine too, because eventually this whole canvas is going to get covered in Mod Podge. I swear, Mod Podge is Elmer's glue, just with a different label on it. Anybody think otherwise? And I definitely wanna make sure that I get over my top edge. It doesn't have to be a thick layer. We just want to adhere our image. Nothing fancy. Getting Mod Podge on my floor, great, that's fine. Pick out any little goobers so there's no bumps and lumps. Once we think we have it good, let's lay our print down. About where you want her. Make sure she's straight. Fold that top edge down. Get her nice and pressed down. And we're gonna go over the top of her with some more Mod Podge, and we're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna turn her over. I wanna make sure that I'm getting out all of her wrinkles and lumps and bumps. Now, because of the treatment that we're gonna do over the top, if there are a few little baby wrinkles, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. But do try to get it as smooth as you possibly can. Once you have your print as smooth as you can get it, mine is a little bit more wrinkly than I would like, but I'm hoping when I put the top layer of Mod Podge on that I'll be able to smooth that out even a little bit more. So what I did to try to get her super smooth is I did flip her over, and I just used like a plastic straight edge, and I just tried to squeegee out basically any of the air bubbles created when I placed her down. But now what we want to do is I do want to coat her entire picture in more Mod Podge. Do I want her to be perfectly flat? Yes. But if she's not, it's okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're gonna coat her in Mod Podge. I'm hoping the wetness on the top also takes out some of her wrinkles and bumps and lumps. And don't forget to coat your top edge in Mod Podge as well. We don't want that coming loose at all. Doesn't have to be thick. Once all is said and done, I'm gonna go back over my whole piece in another layer of Mod Podge. I want to have this layer of Mod Podge on my print because for the color blocking, I'm actually going to put painter's tape over her a little bit, and I don't want painter's tape fucking up my print. So that's why we need a nice protective layer of Mod Podge on her. So I have a few pro tips for you. Just consider these little nuggets of things that I've learned in the Mod Podge decoupage thing that it is. What you are seeing now is my second attempt. So my pro tip number 1 is to print 2 images just in case you fucked the first one up. Remember when I first started applying, when I was like, oh, we're just gonna do a thin coat of the Mod Podge and then we're gonna lay our print over the top of it and try to smooth out any wrinkles. That was wrong. Once that dried, none of those wrinkles came out. It looked a mess. So I was having deja vu of the mix tiles and I was trying to remember, like, what did you do to make those go on smooth, lady? I peeled off my wrinkly mess. Here it is. Then I took my canvas to my kitchen sink. I wet it and scraped off any remnants of my first print. Then I came back and I poured a shit ton of Mod Podge onto my canvas in the area where my print was going to go. I slathered it on. Then I took my print and I went back to my sink because the paper is so stiff that I wanted to give it a little bit of a fleck, almost like a fabric kind of a feel. I turned it over onto the non-printed side and I lightly ran it under my faucet. It wasn't soaking wet by any means, but it was definitely, I wet the entire backside of my print. And then I laid it onto my canvas and using my fingers, I smushed and pushed all of the air bubbles out and Mod Podge was like going everywhere, but there are no wrinkles. It is still needing to dry. I did bring my blow dryer and was blow drying it, but because my print was wet and I used a lot of Mod Podge, it's still very, 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 very damp. So I can't tape off my straight line just yet. I was using my blow dryer. I may continue to use my blow dryer because I would like to get this done tonight, but I will tell you, less Mod Podge is not better. More is better. What I have now is a perfectly smooth, wrinkle-free print adhered to my canvas, and that is what I want. Those are my pro tips to you. You will save yourself a ton of frustration. Print 2 prints, just in case. Now, while I was waiting for this to dry, I was thinking to myself, you know, you could just avoid doing a print at all. If you just like the look of color blocked canvases, you could pick like 2 or 3 different colors of paint, do painter's tape, and do color blocking. I mean, it doesn't require any detail painting whatsoever. Again, so many different options to create your own priceless works of art. It's insane. I am really, really excited about the direction this one is going now. This whole area is going to be yellow. You know, that makes me think too, learn from me. If you were gonna do a print over some color blocked areas, you could paint your whole canvas first in the color blocking and be kind of sloppy about it. You wouldn't have to worry about your lines at all. Then you could Mod Podge your print over the top of your painted canvas. It just depends on if you want some of your print covered in paint or not. That could be a time-saving factor. I am gonna end up doing that because I do have one more print that I'm going to add to this once I have my color blocking down, because I'm gonna do this side in yellow and I want the yellow to go underneath of this, and then I'm gonna have red going down this whole line here. But before I can do any of that, I really need to let this dry a little bit more so that my painter's tape doesn't lift off any of the color. But again, I cannot stress enough. Don't listen to what I said initially. Use a lot of Mod Podge when applying your print to your canvas. And I felt like my hands were also better. Like I could feel there was a huge air bubble. So once my hands were a little bit Mod Podgy, I just pressed ever so gently and then it smooshed out some more Mod Podge from underneath. Going like this motion, like in to out with my fingers like this, and then kind of down and out to the corners to press any of those air bubbles out. And that worked magically. Do that for a wrinkle-free print application. Okay. We are ready to continue on with our priceless work of art. My Mod Podge is completely dry. I let it dry. I just let it air dry its little heart out, and it is so smooth. I mean, there is not one crease, not one wrinkle. You know, if I didn't know any better, I would just assume that I had painted this on this canvas. Very exciting. We get to do the color blocking, which is gonna be super easy. Again, if color blocking's not your jam, don't do it. Let's say your canvas was 11 by 17 and you just wanted to accent and give the print a more painterly feel. Paint by numbers, if you will. Paint like red lipstick on her, paint red nail polish, maybe get a pearlized white, paint this little pearl here, just to add some actual paint detail. That'd be cool too. You don't have to be a painter. Just pick out some areas, buy 2 or 3 colors of paint and just highlight those areas like a paint by number. I am gonna color block because that was the plan from go. So you wanna make sure that your paint also wraps the edges. I will take the yellow up and over, down and under, off to the side. I will also do that with the red. We don't want to see any white canvas on our edges. No, no, no. Now for the color blocking, super easy. I only have 2 colors, but you know, like those, I don't know, you know, I am not, like an art history major. I don't know if it's classified as like pop art, but you know the art I am talking about, where it's like big squares. They usually use like white, red, blue, yellow, and I feel maybe black. You can use as many colors as you want if you're gonna add color blocking to your canvas. Along with the color blocking, just like I told you about adding paint to your print, I am actually going to add a little bit of paint in the form of a red, like blocking out the eye situation. And so to get those nice crisp lines, painter's tape. So I'm gonna take my painter's tape down to the bottom edge and up to the top edge, all the way down and around. And we wanna make sure we got a nice seal. Let's tape off this edge as well. And because I have a nice coat of Mod Podge over the top, I'm no longer worried about my painter's tape ripping off any of my print. So we are safe there. Voila. And then I think the width of my painter's tape is a pretty good width for the red. And then I'm gonna take more painter's tape and follow this outline. And then I'll remove this middle painter's tape and that will be where I paint red. And then we're gonna take this out. I want it to probably come to about here, like that. So that is our perfect little hiding the identity eye strip. Let's get to painting. So, you know, I have a paper plate. I'm gonna start with the yellow first. No rhyme or reason, I'm just going to. Sealed for my protection. I'm going to squirt the yellow out onto my paper plate. It looks exactly like mustard, like French's mustard. I'm gonna sloppily slap this on. I want it to have brush strokes, and I feel like this little cheapy brush is gonna give me exactly the brush stroke I want. So, ooh. You know when you see those paintings, the paint, it's not like super flat. It has texture to it. It's more 3D, if you will. We want it to look like a painting from some amazing artist. Me. Like, oh, I picked this painting up at the Louvre and you know, it cost millions and millions of dollars, but I am an art connoisseur and it was well worth it. That's what we're going for. And before this dries, we want to remove the painter's tape to make sure we get the sharpest line we can possibly get. Oh my gosh, I am loving this. So yeah, let's just keep painting yellow, then we'll stop and we'll paint red. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with the yellow. I'm happy with the texture. I think that we're good to go as far as yellow is concerned. Because I just bought cheapy brushes, my plan was I was just gonna throw this away and not wash it out. Let's peel off our tape before our paint dries to make sure our line is crisp. Now, if it isn't, we may have to get a little detailed brush and create that crisp line, but I'm hoping we're good. Oh, I got a little bit of white. I see the error of my ways. I didn't put my tape right close up to my print. I do have a white gap there, which I am going to need to fix. But as far as like the line is concerned, it's pretty damn straight. So I'm gonna fix this little white gap here real quick, and then we can move on to the red. Repair done. It looks perfect, perfect. Am I getting yellow paint on my hardwood floors? Yes, I am, but don't worry. I'll clean that up. But you know, be smart. If you're working on the floor, put some newspaper down, a sheet, what have you. Part of me wants to redo this tape line just to make sure there's not a gap, which I think there is. I wasn't very good, but let's just redo it now while we're here. Okay, I think we're good to go and we're ready to paint red. All right, another paper plate, and let's do this and then over the print, which I'm very excited about. Again, sealed for my protection from the Michaels. And I will say, this paint's not bad. The coverage looks okay. I mean, if you're like a master artiste, this Michaels brand Artist Loft acrylic paint is probably not something you would use, but for what we're doing it for, some color blocking, I think it's fine. So let's squirt out some red, paint this little strip and her eye. I know, very exciting indeed. Okay, the red little side is done, so let's reveal our crisp, clean edge. Hopefully we have no white gap. Oh, brilliant, I say. That looks good. Damn, this looks exactly like, I mean, minus the print, because I couldn't find the exact lady that they used. Now we are going to do, I'm gonna flip her around because we need to paint across her eyes. That red is a beautiful color, by the way. So now we're actually painting on our print. Don't be nervous. To be quite honest, if we do mess up, this is covered in Mod Podge, so we should be able to wipe it right away before it dries down too much. But like I said, if you wanted to do any accents to your print, just get a fine detailed brush. But for me, I have an easy job. I'm just gonna paint a little strip across her eyes. I'm gonna have to do it pretty thick. I'm doing thick with a light hand. I don't think I can see any of the print. Ooh, good. Let's take it off. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers fucking crossed. Ooh, that's a nice line. The key is you gotta take this painter's tape off while the paint is still wet. Do not let the paint dry. I can't stress it enough. Ah, suki suki. Again, I know this painting is not everybody's jam, but it is mine. I don't know what it was about it. I just fell in love with it, but knew I couldn't afford it. So, that is perfect. Oh my God. That is so good. I love it so bad. I can't even see right now. That looks so good. This little strip alone is gonna take 8 years to dry because it is so thick. Don't forget, I still need to add my word situation to the bottom here. And then we're gonna put Mod Podge over the entire thing so that the brush strokes of what we've actually painted with paint and the brush strokes on top of our print blend into one. So it looks like a seamless, brush strokey sort of Van Gogh situation. I can't do anything more until this actually dries. So, you wanna just sit here and watch paint dry? Okay, the paint from my color blocking is dry and we are ready to finish up our masterpiece. So I need to put on a ton of Mod Podge. I've already gently wet the back of my print because like I said, my pro tip, I'm telling you, yeah, tons and tons of Mod Podge spread out, thick and evenly. Get our print and then watch how easily and smoothly this goes on. Boom. Actually, I did not get Mod Podge high enough here. I didn't realize it was going this high. And it doesn't matter, like I said, if we get Mod Podge over where our print is going. In the end, we're gonna cover this whole thing in Mod Podge. Gently using my hands to line it up, smooth it out, move it around. I don't know, something about having your print a little bit wet just helps it smooth it out better. I wonder if I discovered that. I wonder if the Mod Podge community knows. And then what I need to do is run out to my garage and get some black paint so that I can do the bottom edge and a little bit of the top edge. That's pretty much it. Masterpiece, almost done. Okay, our final print is on and it is dry. I have painted both bottom edge and my top edge. So all my edges all around are covered in paint. We can't see any white canvas. And so now all we have to do is do our finishing touch of a layer of Mod Podge over this entire thing. So it seems like the whole thing was painted by hand. Cheapy little paintbrush and our Mod Podge. I'm just gonna pour this Mod Podge right on top. Boom, boom, boom. Big strokes all over. Let it dry. All right, dump and go. I'm probably gonna use a lot. Let's use this one. Yep, it's a lot. I'm using a lot. Now, just take your paintbrush and start smoothing it out. We're looking for brush strokes all over the joint. And again, just get all over the top, all over the edges, brush stroke, and no clumps of Mod Podge. It's gonna be MoMA fucking worthy. Not to mention, everybody is gonna think you paid a fortune for this art piece, and you didn't. Are you ready to see our priceless work of art? You're gonna die. Dun, 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 dun. There she is in all of her glory. I mean, you can even see from here, the brush strokes, looks like we painted it. She is amazing. I love her so much, and to think I would have never been able to afford her had I not DIY'd her myself. So yeah, it's like I always say, take something that you see that maybe you can't afford, or maybe you just don't want to spend the money on it. Because once you break all of its parts down, you can make it yourself. Because seriously, this painting compared to this painting that we did, I know, mind blown. I mean, and it was easy. Now, I get it. This, not everybody's style. However, you can easily use creative license and make anything you want. A canvas, a print from your computer, Mod Podge, and some paint. That is all you need. And actually what I love about this one that I created, while I was really taken with the print that I saw at the store, it was dark, it was moody, with the phrase, "She should have never gone down to the lake," made me feel like the woman in the print should have never gone down to the lake. Like, maybe she got killed, maybe she drowned. I don't know. But now her picture with the words, "She should have never gone down to the lake," it evokes something different to me. A don't fuck with me sort of a vibe. She just got back from the lake, and it's more like, keep your nose in your own business. And she's just sitting there smoking a cigarette, thinking to herself, she should have never gone down to the lake. Had she not have gone down to the lake, she'd be alive. Had she kept her nose in her own damn business, she'd be alive today. But I had to do what I had to do. That's what this one with this chick and that phrase says to me. So that is something else that I think is really cool. Again, about making it more personal, more you, even though the phrasing is the same, even though it's almost identical to the one I was trying to recreate. I just get a different vibe just simply by changing the imagery. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool too. You can create your own art gallery going down your hall, in your bedroom, in your family room, wherever. I mean, honestly, so easy and a huge bang for your buck. Because what was this canvas? Like 18 by 20, 18 by 22? That is a big canvas. That is a big print. Anywhere you go, you're gonna spend $50, $60, $70. So this way, under 20, you've got yourself something that means something to you, not something you just found at a store, something that you can make super personal. I mean, can you imagine the kids print, put it on a canvas, Mod Podge it up, give it to grandma. She'll be in fucking heaven. Do it. This one is a must. So yeah, that's it. Another DIY Wednesday under our belt, and it's fucking amazing. I love her. I love her so much, I can't even see right now. I love where she is. I love her. And we did it all by ourselves. Really no like artist skills whatsoever. We created that. Awesome, if I do say so myself. So yeah, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring that notification bell so that you are alerted to all of the DIY Wednesday videos I push out, which is every other Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Be sure to share this video with your family and friends. And as always, thanks for hanging out.